interplanetary logos was invaded and corrupted by the reptilian controllers, also known as the Archons of the NAA, Negative Alien Agenda, or the Negative Alien Archon Group. The planet and our race were impacted dramatically. It meant we were no longer free to create and evolve as per the original blueprint of our intended creation, and we had no memory of what had happened to us. We were recycled through continual reincarnation into the astral plane with no memory of the past lives, who we really are, who we were, where we're going, or what our real relationship is to God, and what humanity's purpose actually is. Over time, most of us lost our feel and connection to our soul matrix, and we became numb to the pain in order to survive in the anti human based structures. What has happened to our planet is not human, it is alien to the true nature of humanity. To be able to understand the sociopathic sick mind of Archontic deception systems, one would need to better understand the general attitude of an AD infected human or non human, as having little to no remorse or empathy. If a technologically advanced extra dimensional race had decided to implement a gradual takeover of a planet and its inhabitants, what kind of strategy would it use? First, they would look to how they could maximize the efficiency of the invasion process and reduce the expenditure of resources that they have to generate themselves. To achieve this goal, the secretive infiltration of the core societal organizational structures such as religion, medic- medical, financial, and legal systems would be ideal to shape the value systems that generate reality belief systems that they want to control. Through the engineering of a labyrinth of self enforced enslavement policies based on fear and intimidation among the Earth inhabitants, they would achieve the use of minimal off planet resources by piggybacking on the Earth human resources. The people on Earth would effectively enforce their own enslavement as well as enslave their own global human family by giving up their rights and their resources. This is a very effective takeover and invasion with minimal resistance or revolt by the inhabitants because they're unaware that they are being invaded. This is called the Archontic deception strategy. Luciferian rebellion. One of the heightened events of enemy patterning buried in our cellular memory history is that of the Luciferian Rebellion, which reached its apex during the end of the Atlantean root race, or the human evolution cycle. From the Guardian Founder race's perspective, this was the end result of our last aeon, or astrological age, approximately 26,000 years ago, by our human timeline measurement. What resulted in our Atlantean evolution experiment was quite a traumatizing cataclysm that set the events in motion as to what humans would experience in the next aeon cycle. The last 26,000 years have been a dark cycle of evolution and planetary rule from the negative aliens that formed the NAA strategies for human enslavement and for trapping our consciousness. When one has control over the thoughts of one's mind, one has the control over the direction and actions of the physical body and all of its parts and the reclaiming of the soul energies. Whoever controls the mind controls the soul. Mind control is used to form socially acceptable belief systems and shape value systems to which are used to control and enslave the masses. God, religious violence, gender issues, financial and debt enslavement, and sexuality are the most mind controlled and manipulated belief systems that are promoted by the NAA and their human power elite to continue the enslavement and vampirism of humanity. Alien implants. Alien implants work in the human body similarly as the chemical processes of geoengineering that is used in spraying chemtrails in our skies. Alien implants are a bioengineering technology designed to shape the human body into submission to the NAA's mind control agendas. It is similar to chemical or nanoparticle geoengineering that is being used to control the weather by harming the ozone layer and creating excessive methane gases. Negative alien religions. One of the largest lies promoted to divide our race is the war over false gods, promoted through religious violence. The false archetypal story of a crucified Christ figure is a mockery to further enslave humans into believing in a salvation model through a crucified Christ. It represents the tortured human being as we are all the Christ, and we have been crucified or implanted as our planet has been invaded. These structures are called crucifixion implants. These crucifixion implants are tangible control structures placed in the seventh dimensional logos, and therefore it is in our individual bodies in the seventh dimensional chakra, its complex, meridians, and the entire left side, or our female spirit, of our bodies. The left side of our body is our female side. We are not aware of these implants until we open the seventh chakra seal and start connecting this part of our seventh layer light body to our personal consciousness field. This is a direct result of the negative aliens and the NAA strategy for enslavement through mind control and artificial intelligence. When we look at the larger galactic picture of consciousness enslavement, we see the NAA's many pronged agenda to target the brain, the central nervous system, and thought forms of every person on Earth. Through the agenda of transhumanism, we see the promotion of hybridization and synthetic integration with artificial neural networks for control over the central nervous system and brain. What is starting to surface with more clarity is that our human neurobiology is wired for empathy, which connects us to higher consciousness and has a spiritual function. The NAA and their minions of soulless AI infected synthetic beings do not have the biocircuitry for empathy. We are, in essence, in a struggle between human empaths and alien hybridized humans and extra dimensional aliens that are non empaths. Please consider that uncovering many multidimensional layers of complex alien machinery used as advanced mind control weaponry for perpetuating clone warfare, along with the AI hybrid demonic hierarchies managed by the invaders to enslave humanity for the NAA's ongoing invasion of the solar system, has encompassed many successive missions of multi-dimensional guardian teams over several lifetimes to identify and locate the hidden alien infrastructure of artificial red wave and red cube transmissions throughout the planetary grid network. Thus, during the ascension cycle with the neutron window opening, Discovering the Red Trident has been ongoing with successive revelations of its AI infrastructure being located for dismantling for the purposes of correcting dark matter from terraforming technology, while identifying which of the NAA species are active administrators of the Looking Glass, overseeing their cloned AI hybrid armies in the Phantom Matrix areas of the artificial tree of life, which function within the sprawling mass of galactic hierarchies. Three main agendas. Every human being that has been contacted by interdimensional entities or has suffered through abduction scenarios should be well aware that the Earth holds great interest for these non human entities that want to access the entirety of the planetary genetic library without any restrictions. On planet, the history of the human genetic race line and tribal affiliation is key coded to interdimensional Stargate mechanics in the grid network, which is held in the DNA record of the incarnated human being, even when its potentials remain dormant and inactive. The high majority of those that are contacted or abducted are directly related to the genetic affiliation that the human being has had with one out of three primary interdimensional stellar agendas that are connected to that particular star family located in the higher dimensional realities. Those that serve the Emerald Order Covenant uphold the cosmic sovereign law for achieving human freedom and planetary liberation, which extends beyond this universe into the cosmic source domains and go all the way back to the first God world creation. The other two, the Belial group and the Black Sun alien AI hybrids, originally sourced from a fallen parallel matrix called Wesa, which serves the one world order government with the current transhumanist slavery agenda for implementing the Great Reset. Here's a little bit of the NAA's invasion timeline. Timeline memories surfacing into the mass planetary consciousness fields. As species memory returns, the dimensional field collapse. Core Atlantean seed conflict, misuse of technology, personal will versus divine source plan. The Atlantis flood began the alien invasion in 9600 BC. In Stonehenge, there's an 11th dimensional gate. So the Stonehenge 11th dimensional gate takeover unplugged our DNA 5,500 years ago, and it scrambled the cellular alphabet or the fire letters. A fifth dimensional wormhole invasion began 5,000 years ago in Saqqara, Egypt, and that comes from the Djoser lineage. The events changed humanity's probable reality into another event horizon for 2012. It was supposed Armageddon, but that had to be delayed. Current primary objective is third dimensional mind control, terrorism, or cataclysm through seed invasion fear to replay the Atlantean program once again. And the human power elite used to control the planetary resources for the negative alien agenda. And what that is, their resources is stealing life force through satanic ritual abuse. Victimizer program. The goal of the invading entities which brought on the Lyran Wars was to destroy access between the Universal Gates, the Lyran Gates, and Andromeda, to prevent any meta-terrestrial founder races from gaining access into the Milky Way system and preventing the future seedings and incarnations of the Christos founder races DNA. But soon the Lyran Wars spread to the constellation of Orion and through the metagalactic core, where it became a war with those who wanted to dominate others in this system based upon the victim victimizer, fear based mindset. This can also be called archetypal enemy patterning. Entities with the service to self ideology were attempting to enslave or eliminate those who followed the law of one, with the ideology of service to others that held love based mindsets. This extreme polarity consciousness was amplified due to the AI levels of programming used to weaponize attacks against multiple other species. The Burga from the black hole system inserted this virus with AI programming into our matrix, creating a time rip with technology called the victim victimizer software. The companion mind control software with the sexual misery program is the victim victimizer program, which is a divide and conquer strategy. These two software programs are used interchangeably through the NRG or the Nephilian reversal grid hardware. However, the victimizer program is that which propagates an enforcement vehicle for the predator forces of the imposter spirit to work through, as this is what enforces Archontic deception behavior and other NAA mind control programming in the masses, such as the sexual misery program and the Armageddon software program. The Armageddon software mind control programs such as war and terrorism, pestilence and cataclysm fears, or many other fear programs, which can be interchanged as they are similar bio-warfare mind control programs used on the earth to suppress and control human consciousness by propagating artificially generated false timelines. This is a psycho-spiritual warfare strategy used against humanity by the negative aliens through their false gods and false father satanic religions to use SRA to repeatedly enslave, kill, and torture humans through religious violence and military control through terrorism, war, and population control, in which their goal is to institute global tyranny via the New World Order or the One World Order. The Armageddon software is the enslavement companion mind control system which is activated through the crucifixion implants in the holographic inserts that are embedded in the planetary body and the human body. The Armageddon software is a mind control program to terrorize humanity through enforcing the militarization of planet Earth and is carried out through military grade alien technology and the continual development of the hidden underground and space alien technology war machine agenda. The holographic insert is an insert that is a false or real memory that is being programmed upon our consciousness for mind control purposes or DNA genetic manipulation from the NAA. Holographic inserts are used to bend time and space and therefore manipulate timelines. Inserts are implanted into the consciousness layers through the frequency manipulation of the body's energy fields or light body. Misogyny is the hatred or dislike of women or girls. Misogyny can be manifested in numerous ways, including sexual discrimination, denigration of women, violence against women, sexual objectification of women, and even reveal itself in toxic femininity, which sources from an assortment of socially groomed mind control behaviors. Women as well as men can embody misogynistic behaviors which enforce subconscious compliance to self-imposed misogynistic attitudes such as a toxic femininity that appears in such anti-female archetypical forces such as the Princess's Code, the Dark Mother, and Lunar Women. Misogyny has been characterized as a prominent feature of the mythologies of the ancient world and in various religions. This was set in place to program slaves on the earth many thousands of years ago by alien invaders. The use of the term patriarchal domination has another context and the meaning in relationship to the Guardian ES material beyond the generally accepted definition. The negative aliens Archons group do not want to spiritually heal and thereby integrate into human society as equals. They want to rule the humans and the earth as an absolute authority with an iron fist of brute force totalitarianism. The New World Order, while using the controller archetype of the false king of tyranny to carry this agenda out. This mind control overlay used by the NAA is called patriarchal domination. The power elite are a group of humans that have been handed the control over the majority of the resources of the planet in order to carry out the Archontic deception strategy that the NAA has put into place to ensure the mind control programming continues to divide and conquer the human population on Earth. To understand the nature of the NAA forces is to know the context of how they use patriarchal domination, gender reversal, and sexual misery in complex layers of mind control programming to achieve their goals of spreading mass confusion between males and females on Earth. Patriarchal domination is enforced in a variety of ways. Generally, it is through abuses of alpha male power using brute force or victim-victimizer programming to control women through methods of fear and intimidation, as well as those that are ranked lower on the social or religious classification system. This is a learned behavior that is promoted in a variety of ways in social conditioning or is mimicked from boys watching their fathers or male authority figures that abuse women or girls and have no remorse for committing these abuses or for hurting others. This is a primary strategy of programming humans into mind-controlled Archonic deception behavior that originates from the Orion group, which is a misogynistic and non-human warring society. Strategies of exerting power and control through misogyny exist at every level of society, starting as domestic violence and forms of power abuses which shape core values and the way humans are programmed to think about the nature of reality. To better grasp how the Archons use the false king of tyranny archetypical forces to operate and abuse power systems on the earth, we can study the most effective way abusers like to intimidate and control their targets. This can be a one-on-one strategy of controlling another, or more sophisticated tactics that are applied in group settings, organizations, such as the negative ego pathology of the workplace, psychopaths. They use power and control, they use intimidation, emotional abuse, coercion and threats, economic abuse. They try to use male privilege. They want to isolate you, deny, blame, and minimize. They'll use your children. Sexual slavery and sexual misery are all just part of this misogynistic society. Transhumanism is an international cultural and intellectual movement with an eventual goal of fundamentally transforming the human condition by making available technologies that greatly enhance human intellectual, physical, and psychological capabilities. Many transhumanists believe in compatibility between the human mind and computer hardware, with the implication that human consciousness can be transferred alternative media known as mind uploading. Since the science of the soul and the consciousness functions of the spiritual bodies have not yet been discovered by scientists, this has potentially extremely destructive consequences to human consciousness and to the electromagnetic functions of the light body. Posthumans, the result of applied transhumanist technologies, could be completely synthetic artificial intelligences or a symbiosis of human and artificial intelligence, or uploaded consciousness, or the result of making profound technological augmentations to the biological human. This is part of the Black Sun Draconian agenda. Transhumanism is a school of thought that seeks to guide us towards a post-human condition. Essentially, it's about creating artificially intelligent hybrids or cyborgs to replace the organic spiritual consciousness of humans. Some examples are redesigning the human organism using advanced nanotechnology or radical technological enhancements, like like the genetically enhanced super soldiers. Some of the proposed biological enhancements are using some combination of technologies such as genetic engineering, psychopharmacology, life extension therapies, neural interfaces, brain mapping, wearable or implanted computers, and entrainment of cognitive techniques. Most of these options are designed to disconnect the human soul from the human body and prepare the body to be used as a shell for a new host. Effectively, this is integrating technological and pharmaceutical hybridization to damage human DNA as preparation for body snatching. The fundamental basis of the transhumanism concept is the AI downloaded into the scientific human mind from the negative aliens or satanic forces in their quest to survive and achieve immortality by hijacking human consciousness and ultimately possessing the human host body. They do not have flesh and bone bodies, and they covet ours. Most academics are filled with the variety of mind control and alien implants to be a cog in the wheel to steadily enforce alien control systems. Most early transhumanism concepts were developed by geneticists interested in eugenics and sustaining life forms in synthetic environments, like the eugenic experiments similar to those of the Black Sun Nazis. A common feature of promoting transhumanism is the future vision of creating a new intelligent species in which humanity will evolve and eventually either supplement it or supersede it. The distraction on the surface is a scheme, while the underlying motivation is intending species extinction of what we know as humans today. Transhumanism stresses the evolutionary perspective, yet it completely ignores the electromagnetic function of human DNA, consciousness reality of the multidimensional human soul spirit. They claim to want to stop human suffering, but have no idea of the alien machinery and mind control implants used to imprison human consciousness. They know nothing about the afterlife, what happens during the death of the body, or even how the human body or universe really works. Yet they want to control all of it, every aspect of the human body with artificial technology. A primary goal of many transhumanists is to convince the public that embracing radical technology and science is in the human species' best interest, with the false god alien religions used to spread the rhetoric of fear and mindless obedience on one end, and the primarily aesthetic science used to mock all things religious without any comprehension of true spiritual understanding on the other. they have their bases covered. Consciousness and spiritual groups are quickly labeled conspiracy theorists by scientists to intimidate, discredit, and shut us up. Obviously, until people have personal consciousness experiences outside of their body and have the ability to communicate with assorted life forms, such as deceased humans, and travel to other dimensions, they have zero information about consciousness and are totally uninformed and ignorant about the nature of reality. None of these transhumanist people are remotely qualified to be put in charge of scientifically directing the future evolution of the human species. Propping up egomaniacs and psychopaths and giving them power and control over world affairs and influence over public perception is the game of the NAA controllers. The true knowledge of the sacred sciences of the soul and mechanics of human multidimensional consciousness have been obliterated from record and conveniently mind controlled out from the majority of sciences. If scientists integrate theories of the soul or consciousness outside of the consensus of the mind control standard, they risk ridicule and losing their funding or their careers. Unfortunately, the controlled mainstream sciences do not recognize multiple dimensions of consciousness inherent in the functions of activated human DNA, or know that biological life and multidimensional human consciousness does not end on this earth. The quest for biological immortality on a prison planet is ludicrous when experiencing the capability of human multidimensional consciousness. After the human body expires, if the undeveloped and disembodied consciousness is merged and assimilated into artificial intelligence, the remnants of that human soul will not have a human body to incarnate into any longer. Hence, that person will lose their connection to organic spiritual biology and cease to be human. Transhumanism is a consciousness trap. All right, that's it for this one today, folks. This was a long one. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. Namaste.